Diary entry. Day 1. I had finally found what the master had been looking for. We didn't have any idea what this demon flower would look like, but now that I've seen it in person, I can truly say it was a spectacle to behold. I had waited at the spot for hours, but was finally greeted with an amazing sight of blue spider lilies. I had no idea these existed until now. I was instructed to destroy these flowers if we found them, but I believe I can find out many things about them with the right amount of time. Diary entry. Day 384. It's already been over a year since I found these flowers, but I've only witnessed them bloom 3 times. I expected them to bloom every day, but I never expected them to only bloom 3 days out of the year. Thankfully, the wisteria I planted when I first found this field has started to bloom. I feel much safer here now, since demons will no longer be able to set foot near this area. I haven't found out much yet, but I will take as much time as I need to learn about these flowers. Diary entry. Day 859. The blue spider lilies bloomed again yesterday, and I managed to pick quite a few and get them into proper care. Now I can run experiments on them. I've been writing all my findings down in another journal in a different language, because if it was written in Japanese and a demon got its hands on it, they would have every bit of knowledge about this flower as I do. Only people from my family know this language, so it seemed like the safest bet I could take. I did, however, manage to confirm the rumors about the flower, and it concerned me quite a bit. I found a demon, gave it the flower, and watched as it didn't burn in the sunlight. I knew I was taking a big risk doing that, but I had to see if it was true. I killed the demon after finding this out, and it went out with ease. The flower allows demons to walk around during the day, but they are severely weakened. There are plenty more ideas I have, but I have to wait for the next bloom for that to happen, since all my other flowers are being used. Diary entry. Day 1427. It's been many years since I started my research, but I'm surprised I've been able to keep track of the days. Things have been very lonely out here. I haven't spoken to anybody ever since I found this field. My crow still comes to visit from time to time, but it doesn't really say anything. I've found these blue topaz crystals in the rock formations around this field, and I can't help but be drawn to them. Part of me wonders if I could use the spider lily's power to seal this field away with these crystals. It'll be a long process, but I know I can do it. I've been able to do everything else on my own, so I know I can do this as well. I feel like I'm getting close to the end of my studies, which frightens me, but it will be nice to see my friends and family after all these years. The next bloom is expected to be tomorrow, so I can begin my theory with these crystals. I have another theory as well, but I think this one would be too risky to test. I won't say what it is just yet, but I wrote down my idea in the journal, but I doubt it will ever be tested. Diary entry. Day 2190. Today's the day. I'm finally heading back to the Butterfly Mansion. The past 6 years have been quite the ride researching this demonic flower, but I'm finally ready to see my friends and family again. I know the Master will be happy to hear about my findings, and I know that these flowers will be safe as well. My experiment with the blue topaz and the blue spider lily was a success. I made a pendant that contains the essence of the blue spider lily that locks this field away from the naked eye. Only people from my family will be able to locate this sacred ground because it is marked by my family's crest. A blue snowflake, but I've added my own touch and added the spider lily at the snowflake center. If I am to ever have children someday, their eyes will be able to notice this crest. If I do have descendants someday, I made 10 more of these pendants for future generations. If we run out, the notes on how to create it are in one of the journals, and the 10th generation will need to make more of them. I hope it doesn't go for that long, but it's a precautionary measure. My stuff is all packed and I must return. I am not sure if I'll be writing in this diary again, but I hope that if anyone from my family is reading this, do know that I put my heart and soul into this research, and hope any of you continue to do the same. I love you, my future family. Signed, Sunafareku Arya. Chapter 1. Distant Family. A young girl sat at a small desk, a lamp shining over an open book. The girl had her snow-white hair pulled up into a tight bun, keeping her hair out of her face. Part of her bangs hung out, but it didn't bother her that much. The book was written in another language, but the girl knew it well, since her aunt had taught it to her. Her aunt had been the previous guardian of the blue spider lily, but unfortunately passed away a few years prior. Luckily, she learned the entire language before her aunt's passing. The girl read the same book for what seemed to be the 20th time, but the information was still interesting to learn. She finished skimming through the book once more before closing it and turning off her desk lamp. She exited her room and walked out to the patio where her twin sister Corey and her mother were training. Corey didn't really need to be training since she was a Hashira, but liked to touch up her breathing form from time to time. The girl sat on the bench, watching Corey and her mother practice, her heart heavy, wishing she could have been a demon slayer rather than a guardian. She got snapped out of her thoughts when she heard her mother saying her name. "Yuki, are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine," she said, but looked down towards the ground. "Just had some things on my mind and wanted some fresh air." Corey and her mother looked at each other before Corey went to sit down next to her twin sister. She took in a steady breath before looking at Yuki. "You're thinking about becoming a demon slayer again, aren't you?" Yuki sighed before looking down at the ground, her eyes filled with longing. "It's that obvious, huh?" "How is it not, Yuki? Every day you study in your room, but always come out to watch me train. I can see how bad you want it, but you know it's against the family code." "I know it is, but I hate being trapped in this house, locked away reading all day. Yeah, the information is interesting, but I can't help but feel like something is missing from my life." Yuki and Corey's mother watched the whole conversation, but soon walked over to kneel in front of Yuki. "I know things may seem boring right now, but believe me when I say that being a demon slayer isn't easy. It's a lot of intense training, and your life is constantly in danger. Do you really want to live like that, Yuki?" Yuki looked into her mother's eyes, seeing the worry laced in them, and something in Yuki's heart broke. She knew it was dangerous, but she couldn't help but wish for something different. "Anything would be better than being in my room reading the same books over and over again. I don't care if my life is on the line or not, because I'd be fighting for an amazing cause. Is that so hard to understand?" she asked, her voice now becoming shaky and filled with anger. "I understand what you're saying, Yuki." Corey spoke, her voice still calm. "But there are demons out there beyond normal demonic strength. You've seen how bad I've been injured from one of those attacks." "Even though you got hurt, you're still alive. That's all that matters. You're also a Hashira, so you don't go down without a fight." "Even as a Hashira, I stand very close to death's door every day. Even if we didn't live like this, I wouldn't want you to become a demon slayer because I'd be too worried about you." "I worry about you every day, Corey. That's why I want to be a demon slayer, so I can help you," she shouted, tears now falling from her eyes. "All I want to do is help you, Corey. but I know I can't. I can't break the family code. Corey and their mother both sat there in silence, trying to figure out what to say to calm Yuki down. Before either of them could say anything, Corey's crow came and landed on her shoulder. Corey listened intently to the crow, then stood up with a sad smile on her face. That's my cue. I have another mission to go on. I'll go get your father so you can say goodbye. Thanks, Mom, Corey said with a bright smile. Once their mother went inside, Corey turned back to Yuki before wrapping her in a tight hug. Please, Yuki, keep yourself safe. I don't know what I would do if you got hurt. Yuki's eyes widened in shock, but hugged her sister back just as tight, tears falling onto Corey's Haori. Okay, Corey. I'll be safe. But please be safe yourself. I don't want my other half to be gone. Don't worry, Yuki. I promise to be safe. Their parents came outside, hugging Corey goodbye, wishing her a safe journey. Corey waved her family goodbye before following her crow off into the distance. Yuki waved at Corey until she was no longer in view, but she couldn't help but feel a sinking feeling. She brushed it off before heading back inside. As she walked past her mother, she felt a hand gently rest on her shoulder. Yuki, I know you're worried about her, but try to have more faith. She'll be fine. I know, Mom. She spoke, with sadness and worry in her tone. But I can't help but feel something isn't right. I do have faith in Corey, but something else feels wrong. I just don't know what it is. Before her mother could say anything else, she walked back inside, locking herself in her room, looking at all of the journals on the shelf. She still had a feeling something was off, so she moved the books into a secret compartment she had built into the bookcase, locking them away. She didn't know if her hunch was correct, but she would rather be safe than sorry. Her parents had come back inside, listening to her moving things around. They sat down at the table, both looking at Yuki's door. Do you think she'll be okay? Her mother asked, her eyes still glued to the door. I believe she'll be alright. She just needs to embrace her role as guardian. Still, I can't help but feel she feels isolated from the rest of us. Maybe we should have dinner as a family tomorrow night. Just the three of us. Maybe she'll feel like she belongs with us then? Her mother smiled while nodding. I'll have to head to the market tomorrow to get ingredients then. We don't have very much here right now. I'll come with you. Yuki might want to have some time to herself tomorrow morning before we all have dinner. The following day, Yuki's parents left for the market, returning a few hours later to prepare their dinner. The smell from the food was enticing, and Yuki opened her door, looking into the kitchen. She saw both her parents holding plates in their hands. Her mother looked up and gestured for her to come grab food. Her mother handed her a plate, and they all proceeded to sit at the table. They ended up talking for hours on end, and Yuki started to open up, having a great time with her parents. They talked into the late hours of the night, and eventually decided to start cleaning up their dishes. As they washed their dishes in the sink, a knock at the door caught them all by surprise. Her parents looked at each other before her mother spoke up. Were you expecting guests, honey? No, I wasn't. It was just supposed to be the three of us tonight. I'll go answer the door to see who it is and what they need. Her father went to the door, opening it to be greeted by a man in a nice-looking black and white suit. The man kept his face hidden by a brimmed hat, but Yuki had a sickening feeling about the man. Hello, sir. Is there something we can help you? He got interrupted mid-sentence when the mysterious man impaled his arm through the father's abdomen. Dad! Yuki screamed as she started to run towards him to help. Stop! Her mother shouted. You need to run! But what about Dad? Forget about your father. He's already dead. Run and get to someplace safe. I'll try to hold this demon off. Demon? Yuki asked, her voice now shaking. The man ripped his arm out of the father's stomach, watching as his body crumpled to the floor. Yuki looked at the man standing over her father's dead body, but the only thing she saw was the deep red glow coming from his eyes. The glare sent a frozen shiver down her spine that ended up freezing her in place.